Hello and welcome to session 4 of Karanduun. And this is the last session of this game. I'm loving it, quite honestly. I often say that, like, I always want to make players feel good about the game. Say how much I really like this game. Like, I dig the system. I dig the setting. I think it's really good, and the revisions that we're seeing online on itch.io are making it even stronger. So if you've watched this and have any sense that this might be something in your wheelhouse, go and buy the game. Just do that. This session is part of the Gauntlet Hangouts. The Gauntlet is an online gaming club, and we have a calendar of events that we do each month. We have GMs posting games on there. We have a Patreon that supports all that. There's lots of details to it. That's all on our website at gauntlet-rpg.com. You can go and check that out, find out about all that stuff. But today we are taking up from our last session. I won't go over safety tools because we've done that at the start of each session, but reminder, we have our lines and veils, we have our X card. We gave out experience last time, which is effectively Gaham. And for every 2 points of Gaham that people got, they're able to take an advancement. So I see, for example, Ermin has 6 points. So you would get 3 advancements. And because that's your 5th advancement, or achievement, I can't remember how the term is in the game, you will go up 1 tier and go to tier 2. So everybody can go through and do that. You can raise a stat. You can take a new move. You can take a move from another playbook. Those are all the big advancements that you can do. So let me give you just a minute to look at that while I confirm on something here. What happens when you go up a tier? Okay, when you go up next tier, I think you also raise your base Ganahwa. Let me check on that. Yeah, I think your base Ganahwa goes up by 1, so you get one more effectively hit point. So does anyone? I saw that, heard that Jane has thought about what they want to take for their character. So do you have a sense of what you want to buy for Lilia?
Yes, I want Hands of Siddhapa, which allows me to substitute wisdom in part of, as half of Make God Bleed. Because I think after the ineffectual attacks last time, she really felt like if she was going to do this and be on, really make a difference with her friends, she needs to be able to, at least defend herself in these situations. And then I'm throwing the other 2 into more wisdom. Okay,
that makes sense. Go to strength. Now, one of the things that I'll want to hear is then what that looks like when you use that ability, given your spectral knots and threads and all of that. So I'm looking forward to that. Puckett, do you know what you want to take for Basanta?
Probably a stat advance or 2 and an ability, and I have not gotten any farther than that.
That is fair enough. What about for you, Hudis?
I kind of want to do the all-seeing eye, or wait, I was staring at another one, Bulan's Madness. I get to make both. I know, right? It's like I get to make a hallucination. Because I like the Kulam one, but it's a stacked one where I get to buy verses later. But since it's the last session, I feel like it's not really, like, I just like the idea of black magic, but
Sure.
But I mean,
you can decide on the fly. You don't have to decide right now. You can decide as we go along. Either way, we're just checking in to see if people have definitive ideas. So it's all good.
yeah, I feel like I'll do Bulan's Madness because I feel like the blood soaking on my face kind of thing made me stay up at night more often, and it gave me a good relationship with the moon, and she blessed me with how to create hallucinations to preoccupy me since I can't sleep.
Well, and then you're going to have 3 other picks after that.
Yeah. I feel like I'll do stats.
That makes sense.
After that. Mm-hmm.
Ermin, what about for you?
Well, I'm thinking of splashing the administrator class. That would be the Nasirakna. And then I guess I'm looking over the climb the ladder options to see if there's something that that jumps up and down. Are we allowed to gain advanced verses from our Tungkulane? Because I hadn't taken a close enough look at the, I hadn't taken very much of a close look at the advanced verses, but
You're muted.
So, yes, you can take the advanced verses. There we go. But also, last time we saw you take down this charred chapel. We saw you deal with these priests of the patriarch, and a justified patriarch, Opus Dei, and you dealt with finality to all 5 of them. They had been out on the streets talking to people for a while, so people knew they were around, but you had the definite sense that people were leery of them. And so in the next day or two, the noise for that calms down. Like the word about what happened, the story about what went on gets muted. Mostly what you get is a story from these gangs of teenagers that said that they were the ones that brought the whole thing down. But certainly the rumors about there being heroes with a capital H have increased in the area, though the specifics still remain hidden to the authorities. But the law keepers the patrols are perhaps more frequent. They go in slightly larger numbers. They're watching around and about. And that kind of uncertainty and fear that kind of shows makes some people excited and some people on the street nervous. So there's a lot of forces and tensions that are going on back and forth. The other thing that you do know about is that there is this cult of Rohan Tentone that has been offering their services to people, essentially performing magics with poultices and potions and things in people's eyes. They are rendered blind in that eye for a time, but then once that eye patch is removed, they're able to see more things. They have a expanded consciousness. Their mind is spread, and they can also see more of the spirits and more of the little gods that are walking around. But they're also then tools for the cult, because the cult can see then through their eyes. And you don't know exactly what the implications of that are, but that perhaps causes you some worry. In the wake of you taking a forceful action against your former, they weren't exactly brethren, but they were associated portions of your faith, Lilia, what do we see of you? What's your reaction afterwards?
I think that she's got, I feel like any doubt she had is gone. Like she's well and truly severed now. Before, she had just walked out on her duties. And in a way, I think she's gotten a little bit more confident. She's like, well, that ship has sailed. There's no going back now. And it's really hardened her resolution.
And moving up in a tier is a significant act. It is a raising of your power. Things, move such that some of them are beneath you now, and you're more potent in facing things. What do you imagine that transition is like for you? Is it prayers? Is it a change in yourself? What do we see, or what do we know about you now that shows that change?
I mean, I think it's all in posture. I think she's been really uncomfortable with herself, just physically and with her feelings and into her emotions. And I think largely through her interaction with Ermin, she's sort of like kind of come into herself a little bit. That it's a subtle but like distinct increase in confidence in her bearing.
And certainly your friends from the statue will note that. Your associates there, the women that you've helped out with, they will note this and comment on it, and they seem pleased. Clearly, they were worried about you and gossiping behind your back about just what is she going to do? I wish she would do and talking with their neighbors all about that. But this seems to make them happier that you seem to have it more together now.
The downside is I think some of the kids aren't as friendly with me, but they do listen a bit better.
I like that. Is there any change? You spent some time kind of connecting with that statue building and working to get it as a more hospitable place. We talked about this last time. The group had worked to support that. Is there any change in your relationship to the building itself or to the spirit? Do we see anything there, or is it still kind of apart from you?
I'm not sure about that at this point.
Okay. Let me come to Ermin. Ermin, what is the process for you to transition from one tier to the next? Is what is different about what you see or how you look or what you do?
I would say that Ermin recaptured some of the passion of his youth in the previous session when he was inciting the mob of teenagers. And so part of what he does is he walks the streets of the neighborhood and he just starts trying to listen, and trying to soak more of it in and become more attuned to what it is the community needs, what it is the people are crying out for. If he tries to listen more. He spends less time at his shop and more time soaking up the environment of the neighborhood.
And you'll see the echoes of the spirits, of the Dewata around. We'll see you connecting with those. But this city is still in the hands of the Empire. It's still part of that great beast. It's this neighborhood is fodder for the engine of the empire. What do you see now? What's the visible signs of that corruption or that control that you see now?
I see the injustice of venal corruption. I see mid-level authority figures extorting the people under them and the lawgivers looking the other way. I see the strands of power that shield those with authority and bring the might of the lawgivers down on the unfortunate.
And
I see the hypocrisy.
Yeah, the instruments of oppression that you had become aware of to even begin your journey, your consciousness raises out to be able to see those and see further. Hudas, what is the process for your change, for your shift between these states?
Yeah, I feel like I explained a bit about the can't sleep, talking to the moon kind. But I feel like I want to give him like a baby adolescent's growth spurt. Like he's a little taller, his face is a little longer, more jawline. To a point that he only noticed it because he had to buy new clothes. And it's been a while since he's had new clothes, so it's very noticeable to the people who's noticed him. They're like, "What's the thing up with you?" It's like, "Yeah, I'm taller." No, it's you're wearing something different. And like his face is cleaner, but he's also a little bit more bloodshot because he's tired from not sleeping. But he's also more powerful because he's Jack and Moon magic. You're in mute, Lo.
That's me cursing. So
Yeah, I saw.
Who is the first of Pilenduk's creditors? Those that your trickster boss, your trickster mentor owes. Who is the first one to come sniffing around now that one of Pilenduk's children, disciples, has a little more power?
Yeah, I feel like one of the creditors who comes along is like this red-headed, like they're human looking, but obviously because wait, let me find the perfect description. It's like the way they hold themselves and their hair and the way they dress just screams fox. Like just the pointedness of their eyes, the way they tilt their nose, the way they hold themselves is a little bit too light, and they are an old friend of Pilendok's, and they're like, we used to swindle people in the gambling district. You and your adoptive father, he owes me a lot. I've saved his ass too much.
Yeah, and we're gonna call him Jackal Daddy. And
oh sure, I love that the word "daddy" is in there.
He's like, I know that you would want to make things right. Yes? No?
Hudas is like looking at him up and down and is like, I am not my father. What? Yeah, he says something like that.
Well, I know that. But you're also the person who has his burdens. It's going to come a time when we're going to come a calling, and when we can have you play with us nicely. That's
and
what
then
I want.
Hudas does the teenager, the TCH sound, and is like,
he jerks back
like,
from that sound.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, what kind of play are you thinking of?
Certainly, there are jobs, tasks, scores that Pilenduk would have helped with that maybe you can step in and help out.
Yeah, and who this is like massaging his temples like with the migraine of lacking sleep, and he's like, fine, just give me the details. I'll give it a look.
Okay. I'll have my people get in touch with you.
And who this is like suppressing a kind of face. Because it's like, oh, that uncle that I don't like seeing. Oh.
Yeah. The thing where, rubs his whiskers and heads out. Basanta, you have also gone up a tier. Is there anything that we see about you that tells us this? Is there any change in you for that?
I look a little dirtier.
Mm-hmm.
There's my clothes look a little bit grimier, but I've got a bigger smile on my face because I've been talking to all the little gods in the area, and because of that, they shared with me the secret of, if you'll excuse me for a moment, Talo, the green secret of reverence.
Ooh.
And they've clued me into I knew there were little gods everywhere, but I didn't know how many little gods there were and all the different things that they control. And so because they see me becoming more powerful, because they saw me helping out more and trying to make this area more free, they kind of just pulled me aside a little bit and started whispering things to me about how to contact all these little gods and slightly bigger gods even.
And I think you also will realize, even as you're realizing how many there are, you realize that they've never really told you how afraid they are. Like you're a child to them, and they've tried to hide that, but you'll begin to realize that they are very much under siege here in the city. That the authorities, where the little gods manifest, where they can, they capture them, they take them, they turn them into other things. And the areas that you live in, these neighborhoods, are the refuges for these kinds of figures. What is that green secret? What does that do?
Oh, it's nifty.
Okay.
This is the knowledge that in everything from guns to trees and stones to concepts like eye ailments or rebellion, there live divinities known as Dewata, and one can change reality by beseeching them. When you beseech these divinities for a favor, make a spirit plus word roll against the threat of the Dewata. Dewata of smaller things and concepts would be low, from 0 to 1. Dewata of more common things, such as swords, would be 1, 3, or 5. Beseeching Bethala Dewata would be high threat, 7 or 9, and don't expect a failure or partial success to be trivial. On a full success, the Dewata will grant you that favor or give you relevant counsel to your present situation. On a partial success, the spirits will still help you, but at a hard, tangible cost. It is not unusual for a Dewata to need to possess you for a particular effect as well, especially if it is a high and large, powerful and large favor. For example, beseeching a war Dewata to fight for you might mean they will possess you and fight through your body. This verse can trigger acts. If you beseech Dewata to attack, for example, you would make God bleed. If you ask them to sway the opinion of someone, you would sway the flock.
Okay. That seems pretty awesome to me. So let's move to maybe some cross-path scenes, and we'll kind of see where we go from there. Lilia, who would you like to have a scene with? We didn't have a chance to have you like a real one-on-one with Basanta or Hudis last time. You had some chance with Ermin. Would you like to talk to either one of those? Or do you want to settle your matters with Ermin?
Um, I'm kind of imagining that after the last game, Ermin and I kind of settled into like a comfortable understanding. So I don't know that we need to like revisit that right this second. I definitely am curious. I mean, I think that I would have more to say right now to Basanta than I would to Hudis. I think I'm still a little afraid of Hudis.
Oh, that makes sense.
So, Puckett, where do you think I might run into Basanta? Kind of unexpectedly. Can I run into you talking to a little god?
I'm actually, there's a couple of my uncles who are playing some kind of board game like checkers that I don't fully understand the rules of. And they've got this board on top of a half of an oil can and these, well, rather grotty chairs that look like they should be in a building somewhere, but they're on the street. And they're smoking cigars and they're drinking beers, and I'm just sitting behind them listening and laughing.
But you are playing the game or you are not playing the game?
No, I'm trying to, I don't even know what the game is. I don't know how to play it. I'm just kind of watching what they're doing, and it seems very complicated, and they're not playing checkers. I know that much, but I'm watching, I'm just listening to them talk to each other and insult each other, and we're laughing.
This is going to be one of those scenes where I have to kind of like feel out what I want to do with it.
That's okay.
I'm going to stay in the meta here because I'm a little bit more comfortable with that. I think I kind of stumble on this scene. Like I may be going to or from, watching some of the children that I still watch. And I hear kind of this noise coming from this space, and I poke my head in, and I'm like really taken aback. And I'm like, take a deep breath. And I come in and I kind of crouch down next to you. And I want to say, this doesn't seem like the best place for a young lady.
Oh, they're my uncles. It's perfectly safe here. They're just, they're.
I know sometimes people like this don't always have, you can't understand what the little gods want. You may feel safe around them, but I don't think you can ever really know what they're thinking. Do you understand the rules of the game they're playing? Do you understand what they're betting on the game? They seem to be making wagers.
No, but I'm not playing it.
That's true.
Besides, they've protected me. When I had no one and nothing, they watched over me. Why would they want to hurt me now?
I suppose it's the long distrust in me talking. I've been told 100,000 times and read over and over that unless you know that you cannot know the mind of God, little or large. But you're right. They have watched over you. I can't get past my worry for you.
That's fair. But also, can any of us really know the mind of anybody else? I mean, you seem nice. You seem like you care about me, and I haven't seen you do anything to make me think otherwise, but there's plenty of people who think one thing and do another, or do one thing in front of you and do another thing behind you.
And I think at that I laugh, and I just kind of look at you and I say, I think of you as a young girl, and I see the girl that left to go to the monastery, but you are so much more world wise than I am even now. And then I would, Basanta, I want to ask you, will you ask your uncles the name of their game and what they are betting?
Sure.
For me? It would soothe me to know, and I don't feel comfortable asking myself.
Okay. Well, this is Uncle Hoda, and this is Uncle Chavo.
All right.
And Hoda, Chavo, uncles, what game are you playing?
Yun say filth.
And what are you betting?
Well, it depends on what the day is. Today is bottle cap day. It is bottle cap, so we are betting on this day.
And I guess I just laugh, and I suppose I shouldn't have worried. You do seem to know your family far better than I do as an outsider.
Lilia, sit down. It's surprising how comfortable the dirt is here.
I have to admit, I'm kind of curious how you play.
They do turn their noses up a little bit, and they say, she still smells a little bit like the Trinity.
Uncles,
Incense.
She's young.
Cloth.
She's learning. She's just out.
Okay. And you see them turn back to their game. And I think very quickly, as you're watching this, you realize, Lilia, that as much as anything, the game is about arguing the rules of the game. It's like a game of rules lawyering against one another. Even as they're moving things on the board, they have to stop and then argue and go back to the sections and to discuss that. It's like one very long, involved contractual dispute in some ways.
And then I'll just reach in my pocket, say, would you like a beer? I find it helps people understand things better sometimes.
I don't think I'm quite that trusting yet.
You don't take a beer from the small child sitting in the dirt talking to gods?
I don't think I trust myself enough. I have not yet imbibed, and I think I will refrain for the time being.
Okay, I'll save it later.
Yeah, ask me again. Just not quite yet. Still learning.
I mean, that's fair. I don't really like the taste of it myself, but you know, my uncles and aunties do. So
let me cut from that. Ermin, Hudis, would it be okay to do a scene with the two of you together? Cross paths?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
So do we want to set it at Ermin's shop, or Ermin, are you out and come across Hudis doing what Hudis does?
I'm kind of feeling the second one if I'm spending less time in my shop.
Sure. What are you doing when Ermin comes across you, Hudis?
Oh, okay. This is okay. I just randomly pick card. I'm picking flowers. Probably not mine. And it's like a weird bouquet of like, some of them are legit flowers that people do give each other, but there's some stuff that's like, let's just say Hudis is being creative.
Yeah, I imagine that there's like some old canal, like empty troughs that run through the sections of the neighborhood. People live on the sides of it, but down at the bottom, it sometimes gets water through there and flowers grow in the cracks. People tend those like gardens and such. And people are sometimes pretty territorial about that. So you're grabbing a few of those while people are out.
Yeah, and it's totally, you know, I'm totally trespassing, but I'm also like, nah, it's pretty.
So, Armin, you will see Hudis probably the first time since the chapel was destroyed, since the masks of the faces were passed around.
I think what I'm going to do is just sort of lean casually on the railing and the railing over the canal and just sort of watch the clouds go by, and then without like drawing attention to Hudis, pitch my voice so that he can hear and say, and what mischief are you up to now, my friend?
Oh, damn it. I'm supposed to collect specific kinds of stargazers for this very annoying little fox. They eat it. They like make potions out of these things. Do you have any idea? I'm muttering more to myself about like how these somebody, and you know how like loud this lady who owns this house is? If she finds me while I'm getting this fucked. and he's like, but you can see like the stars of the flowers like turn ever so slightly as it recognizes, I guess, your magic or something, or it's just, it just likes the light because I'm imagining the canals like in the shadow.
Right. Oh, your secret is safe with me. I'm sure she won't. I'm sure her eye is not turned this way. But what are the foxes asking of you? And are you meeting their needs in return?
I show you the bouquet and I'm like, I'm obviously, yes, I do. Actually, I should be the one asking you, how is this supposed to bring people money? This doesn't look like a money tree. This look like, I don't know of any spells that, grant people sudden boons of wealth. This is stupid, right?
It's truly a novel bouquet. Not too much that I would brew in that mix, so I'm afraid I can't help you there. Though I know Lilia has expressed some interest in herb lore in recent days. So if you want deeper knowledge, I'm sure she'd be able to set you right.
Yeah, and then I you know how you turn your foot a little bit when you're like, you have like this weird nervous energy, and I'm like, could you help me ask Lilia then? You two are the thing, right? She's at your place.
I cant my head slightly,
and I get more.
The
I get more flowers. I get more flowers and like. Say.
Well, if there is trouble between you two, I'm sure I can do my part to smooth it out. Though,
and then I go like, oh, yeah, go ahead.
No, it's cool.
Yeah, and I go like, yeah, like awkward fist bump. Like, yeah, it totally worked. Yeah.
I understand the two of you don't see eye to eye all the time. And that's fair. I mean, the two of you are coming from two very different worlds.
I crack my head and I'm like, I don't have a problem with her. I just think she might have a problem with me, but I'm not saying anything. And I'm not saying anything exactly. And then I mutter about how like there's this one rando from the last mission who still has my younger face. Good thing I look better looking now, so that people can differentiate that I am a different person. and that we should really like, yeah, Bele, yeah, and then we should really. I think I say that I won't let this stupid fox get the better of me. I want to know how to use this before I give him any stocks.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Come with me. Stop by my shop tonight, and I'll see if I can broker some sort of peace arrangement between you two. Maybe I can help you get the knowledge you need.
And then Hudas is just like twiddling his fingers, and he's like, I mean, you can get one of the bouquets, like, just to ask before I show up. And I'm like, I have a list, and then I just show like a receipt, and it flaps open as you roll out. It's like that. Like I need to go to other people's gardens now.
Oh, my friend, I would not presume to keep you from your appointed rounds, but stop by later, and we'll see if we can get some knowledge for you. Your new height suits you, by the way.
Ah, who does blushes? he's like he puts his hands to his face and is like, and then just awkwardly scrams instead of thanks you.
Yeah.
Like does a ninja jump onto one of like the house rooftops and just scuttles to the next.
I congenially wave as you vanish.
Yeah. It's like,
Ermin, I think as you're watching Hudas kind of look down the length of the trough, and you will see a strange procession coming this way, like about a dozen figures and kind of nice chestnut brown cassocks with rope belts, and there's a figure sort of leading them with a oddly large porcelain mask on. The figures that are behind in this formation, you'll see that they are breaking off, going up to the little shops and buildings and houses that are built on the sides of this canal, empty canal. And it almost looks like prayer strips, but they're putting little markers on each of the doors and then moving along, and they're kind of making their way down the canal. You're muted.
I will wait until this group passes, and then I will casually saunter up to the lady to the house that Hudas was that Hudas was trespassing in, and I will examine the prayer strip that was left on the door.
When the group passes you by, when you get closer, you realize that the 13 or so are clearly undead. They're clearly shambling servitors. You can see that they have veils over their faces that have been nailed in at their temples. And they're clearly essentially acting out these rote things. But when you go up to the building, you will see the sort of prayer strip is actually an eviction notice that tomorrow they will be opening the dam and flooding the canal. People have until then to take the property and leave this place.
All right, that gets Ermin's back up. I think they then try and find out more. I think they're going straight to some of the low-level authority figures, like neighborhood community organizers, and trying to find out who these people are and what's going on with this.
Absolutely. Let's walk with sheep.
All right. That is
word plus word.
Word plus word. Oh, hey, goodness. All right, let me find the dice roller in, there we are. There's the die rolling. Um, 6 hits.
That is 6 hits. So first of all, because you got that many hits, you will gain a Gaham, because you beat the success by quite a margin. And you get to pick 2 off of that list there.
All right. So I feel like I'm walking the streets like I'm walking the streets like a man on fire, because clearly there's a time limit on this situation.
Oh yeah.
Okay, walk with sheep. All right, I'm going to say gain info and befriend an NPC.
But not avoid unwanted attention?
I mean, what's the fun of that?
Okay. So you will run into a person whose name is Bestari Besting. And Bestari is a sort of runner and carrier of information around, and he looks exhausted because he has been running and carrying stuff, and he stops to talk with you because, of course, you've got a tea house, and he likes checking in, and he'll say, "Oh yeah, the law keepers, others, they just I don't know. Word came down that they were going to do a full washout and run water and leave it standing in the place. Apparently they want to put alligators in. They're importing a whole set of alligator folk to come in and settle in. They're giving them those spaces."
Who's responsible for the order? What organization?
I don't know precisely. I heard some people mention this 10-tone group, but they're clearly working with somebody in the government. So I don't know beyond that.
That was Tento, Tento?
Oh, no, Rohan 10-tone.
Rohan, oh, right, them.
You realize that that's the one with the eye stuff.
Right. And the alligator people, do they have a contact? Or is there a group that this is being done on behalf of, or?
I haven't heard word. The rumor I hear is that there's some kind of deal being cut, and the alligator folk are here to grow fat on something.
Shame about everyone else who's living here, right?
Well, there is that. Some people are only just getting home from work and seeing the notes and such. I know that it's brewing up to be a riot. The lawkeepers have moved in some force to make sure that nobody gets out of hand or does anything over by the dam controls.
My friend, and I clap him on the shoulder and I say, I understand this has been a very hard day for you, but I need to ask more of you now. Can you put the word out that we're going to have a community meeting at, and I name a communal place that's near the dam controls, and I name a time to express our grievances about this? We need to, I feel like we need to take a stand against this, and very quickly.
Well, I'll carry the word, but I don't want to get involved. Like I'll pass your message on, but I don't want to get wrapped up in this. They're doing this so fast. They brought in people with gifts from the Trinity to do all this. I mean, you saw they've got, the walking, doing their tasks. Who knows what else they have in reserve?
I understand, and I wouldn't ask. I don't want to ask so much of you. I don't want to put you into danger. I don't need you to stand in front of a crowd. I can handle that. But if you can just carry the word around, it would mean very much to me.
Well, I will do that. And he pushes back his hair, puts some more grease in it. He thinks that makes him run faster, and he will take off down the street. Maybe we can do a scene where we pull everybody together, unless there's an individual or paired scenes you want to do before we do that. Okay, let's have everybody at the tea shop sometime before that meeting that you have planned. How does that sound? So who is at the tea shop when you come back, Ermin? And then we'll string the others in.
Are you still out, Lilia, or have you wandered back to the tea shop?
I think I would stay with Basanta as long as she wants to stay. We're having a companionable moment, and I think I am genuinely interested in this game that they're playing. Confused, but interested. Bucket, is Basanta back yet?
I think after a while we'd be probably more than satisfied with the incomprehensible arguments and the references to documents that don't seem to exist, and probably just make our way out. So, we could be there together.
Maybe I'm after I send Bastari out to rile up the neighborhood, I actively go looking for any other members of any other members of my cohort. So if I encounter any of you on the street, I'm going to be saying, we have a situation, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so you come across them, I think.
And I think that my first response to you is that while it certainly seems the right thing to do to express our grievances, I worry that won't be enough. If they're flooding tomorrow, we might need to take more direct action.
Almost certainly.
Perhaps is there somewhere where I can go do some research? Like what, they're opening a dam. Is it a reservoir? Is this a natural structure? Is this a built structure? Like, I want to go do research and learn some things that we can use to possibly drain this thing.
That seems fair.
So, all right. So let's say, can I just speak some?
We can have you roll for that. Yeah. Let's.
I want to say let's say it's a man-made reservoir, and that when such things are built, there's almost always multiple fail-safes, ways to drain it in case of emergency.
Well, let's see you roll wisdom plus
so
spirit.
that's what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying.
Fair enough.
All right, and oh my god, I have to look up. It's Shape the Lie is wisdom plus. It's my two good ones. Okay. Ooh, that's 8 dice.
There's almost no chance you could fail.
Right.
Oh, don't say that.
I'm always going to say that.
I know, that was unkind. You jinxed it. It's just 2.
2 successes.
Oh, but I'm gonna take I'm gonna use my bamboo scrolls.
Okay.
I'm going up to 3. Or is it +1 to my successes or +1 to my dice?
It's +1 to your dice, so you get to roll another die.
And that one's a success too.
Okay, so 3 successes. So that is a partial success. So I will tell you that while it's a dam, that's more of a term they use. It runs. There are great big old lead pipes that run to the deeps under the city. There's a lot of places around here that were swamps that they drained, and that water and stuff got sent down essentially into an underworld. And they say that every once in a while they have to flush the pipes to clear the water and muck. So essentially what the dam is it's a place where some of these pipes open up into and will spray out into this canal when they open it up.
Okay, and I imagine that's something that happens maybe like once every 75 years. And
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like
it's
not any real
big.
schedule and like,
Yeah. They're supposed to rotate it around spread it around, but this seems a little soon for this area to get the purge. So let's bring the four of you back together at the tea shop. Hoodis, what do we see of you when you arrive?
I have so many baskets full of random plants and flowers to a point that I even have like one on my head or something. And I have like I'm eating one, like a fruit. Yeah. And yeah.
There's probably that smell of flowers kind of lingering around you in the air.
Yes. It announces me before. It's like you smell me before I get there, and then I get there, and I'm like, I can explain. and I have a bunch of stuff on me.
Maybe in your wake, we see one of those big fat bees we described last time, kind of following behind you.
Yeah.
They're not mean; they
God.
won't sting you, but when you come by, they will.
It's the size of a small cat, so it's a little bit.
Yeah.
That's quite the haul, friend.
I say delivery, and then I just dump everything in one go, in the entrance of your shop.
I do hope we will have time to pick through all of that together, and I'm sure that Lilia will have plenty of insights for you. But we have a somewhat more serious situation going on, and
Yeah,
I explained the damn issue to anyone who doesn't know the situation.
And then Kudas is just picking his teeth with like the butt end of like one of the stems, and it's like seems like trouble. What do you think?
Oh, I am pouring tea for people. Basanta, Basanta, are you wearing your shoes?
I am indeed wearing my shoes.
I'm
looking worried. I'm saying, are we trying to get people to safety, or are we trying to stop this, or both?
This needs to stop, but I don't think an angry mob of concerned citizens is going to do more than simply slow it down. We need something definitive.
And if they truly need to flush the pipes, the water is going to need to go somewhere.
Yes, that's what concerns me. I understand that there is a time and a cycle for all of this. If the pipes have to be flushed at some point, we cannot simply cross our arms and say no, not to us, not now. But this seems unjust.
And I think I can corroborate that. I'm going to say my bamboo scrolls are like timetables and historical records of when this has been done, and like pipe diagrams, and none of it's very helpful to stopping it, but it's like, yeah, I can definitively say that this is untimely. It's due in some other neighborhood. I can't figure out which one, but not this one.
So they're just doing this to hurt our friends.
Or to grease the palms of our foes.
I think
I will accept slowing this if we can evacuate the neighborhood, but I feel like we should dream big.
I ask, what does the head guy want? We need to find a way to find out what he wants. Because even if we delay it this time, he's just going to do it again. If we don't know what they're up to, actually.
Rohan Tento is involved, but I was not able to find the name of whoever is pulling their strings.
And then I glance to Basanta and Lilia. Have you heard of any Rohan Tentos?
Well, they're watchers, so it stands to reason they saw something in this neighborhood they wanted to get rid of. If we can figure out whatever they are targeting specifically, it could be an object or it could be a person. Perhaps we can take that out of the neighborhood and at least, you know.
Perhaps they found too many small gods in the area.
Well, there are a lot of them.
I can't imagine all of your many friends would consent to being evacuated.
Some of them would. Others would be angry, and I think they'd try to fight. And I don't think that would necessarily go well for them.
And I lull my head to the back, and I'm like, Basanta, don't you have like a tiny friend who could pass off as Rohan's pet and sneak in? And then of course it's who's recommending the sneak in attack, but but he's also like, yeah, we could also meet in the big communal area. But I'm asking Basanta, yeah.
Sneak in to do what?
Find out what he wants about this district or what his motivations are.
I look around for a piece of paper.
Okay. Find some rice paper, maybe a sales slip, something like that.
I start talking to it. Say, I need a favor. Because I know there's going to be paper around this guy somewhere. And that paper can listen in and tell us what he's up to. Or it can tell us what's on it, which would tell us what he wants.
Interesting. Okay. Let's have you roll spirit plus word.
Okay. Would this actually trigger Tala the Green Secret?
That's what we're doing, right? Yeah.
Okay, spirit plus word. All righty. I have spirit at 1, word plus 3. Oh, goodness gracious. Where is the dice room?
Oh, let me grab that.
Right.
Lines and Veils tab, copy. Doop, paste.
There we go.
I feel like Hudas helps Basanta by like, oh, give me, I can help a little bit, and then I just hold the paper, bless it with a bit of gahoon, like with like licking it or something, and then giving it back to Basanta.
Take 2 extra dice.
Okay. That is 2 successes.
2 successes. The paper will say, they are watchful. They are always watching. They are made of eyes. Cannot get close to them like us. Cannot do that. They see. They have people out there. They watch for us. That's what they are hunting for. So sorry, little one. Cannot help you.
I obviously relay this to the rest of the people in the room. At the very least, it sounds like they're hunting my friends.
If we scatter Rohan Tento, will the motivation for the pumps to be run fail? If we rout Rohan Tento, will this crisis be averted?
That's a good question. One, we'll have to find the answer for it. Let's take 5, and then we'll come back and get into action, figuring that out and figure out what we're going to do.
Valid.
So when we come back, I imagine we get sort of the montage of people doing things to figure stuff out or to set things up. Hoodis, what are you doing? What, like, are you going to find ways in? Are you finding out who's in charge? What, or are you sneaking into places? What do we see you doing? We have a few hours before the planned meeting of grievances.
I feel like I'm just cleaning up people's stuff.
How so?
From
something? Because
yeah. Sorry, you
I
were
was
saying
going to
something.
propose something if it's all right with you. I'm imagining
ahead.
she
Go ahead,
gets like super frustrated and like slams, like throws down her bamboo scrolls that she's been reading and says, I can't learn any more from this. I need to go there. And then I look at Hoodis and I'm like, you can see the reluctance, and I'm like, you know your way around places you shouldn't be. Do you by any chance know a way into the Undercity?
And I perk up with like my like if I was a dog or if I was a cat, and I'd be like, yeah, sure thing. And then I glance around and I'm like, should we bring them? And I bring off my, because I collect a lot of stuff, right? So I just have my random tongue of the manananggal, some random flowers. So
I think when I see your enthusiasm, I like actually cringe a little. I'm like, oh, maybe this wasn't a good idea. And then I want to look at Ermin and Basanta and ask, do you think your time would be better spent trying to find a way to head off the water or divert the water, or should you be topside trying to get people to safety in case Hoodis and I fail?
I think oh, sorry.
Please, go ahead.
I think I am spoken for at the very least at this meeting to try and organize the neighborhood in a direction that we find appropriate and that they are willing to accept. I think if I do not attend, that it will go badly for the people there. But aside from that, my arm is yours.
I'm just going to crouch down on the floor and whisper at the dirt. Little god of pebbles, are you listening? I need a favor, little god of pebbles. I need you to tell everybody what's going on with the dam, that they're going to drain it and they're going to destroy our houses, and that we need to be ready to move. Can you do that?
Let's have you roll. You're asking for a little thing to do a big task, and the pebbles are spread around, so it has some reach. So I'm going to say difficulty 3 on that.
Okay.
Is there anything I can do to assist that?
Sure. Tell me what you do to help.
To what degree do you have like, do I have the ability to add words to that? Or actually what I will do is I will if I realize that you are communing with the little gods, I try and quickly sketch out a sort of a ritual space that will provide the privacy and the clarity that you need to speak with the little god, and see if I can channel some of the power of the spirits in the area to listen and support the little god in their task.
I see that you're doing that, and I start handing you handfuls of the flowers that Hudis collected, and just to like, you know.
Absolutely.
I can pick out the ones. I see what you're doing. I'm supporting you doing your helping move with the flowers.
So 2 extra dice, Basanta.
All right. Do we have any dice in the favor pool?
I think we're going to say you at least have 1. Let's say 1 in the favor pool right now.
Okay. Does anyone object to me using that die?
This sounds overtly supernatural.
Okay. So let's do 7 rolling. That is 1, 2, 3, 4 successes.
So I think that will effectively trigger a form of ignite a flame. Basically, you're casting messages out to people, and the people who will realize that they need to clear out from those spaces, regardless of whether this is going to go on or not. They need to get their things clear of that. And I think that you'll be able to, much like you did in the first session, move people out to safety through those means and those instruments. Does that sound okay?
That sounds good to me.
Okay.
And then I'll stand up and say, let's go not blow up a dam.
Yeah, sure.
I'm listening. What do you have in mind?
Before we left, I kind of rummaged through the plants that Hudis has brought and see if there's anything that might be healing, just to have as a backup.
Oh, of course. The Hudis, you have to check what they're taking and, remove that from your little list, because you're going to have to replace that now. So it's kind of that inventory that you have to do. But yeah, I think that you can get those kinds of herbs.
I see you clocking my movement, and I'm like, I promise I'll help you replace it. I will. We'll find this.
And then I go like, no. And then I just wave my finger, and I'm like, no. I took more than I need. You just need to tell me how these things work, so that I could properly. Like I don't like it that Fox. What's his name? Fox Daddy knows
Jackal
more shit
Daddy.
than me, so I was like, Jackal Daddy. Yeah, just write down.
All right, so we have 4 Ginwa worth of healing in our back pocket.
Cool.
So let me ask you this then. Who it is, Lilia, since you're kind of setting the template for this. Is it that you want to break into the dam works itself? Do you want to break into where this cult is headquartered? Or is it that you want to go down into the underworld, the sort of the source of all of this, where the dam is at? What do you think?
You go ahead. My vision of it was that we
was
had this like big steampunk pipesy thing going on under the city, and through a series of valves and stuff. And I can't figure out how to divert it from above. We've established, and I'm hoping that if we get down there, if we have to go through the cult, maybe that's a thing. I don't know how we get down there. That's why I was asking.
Okay.
But my goal is to get to the pipes and prevent whatever big wheel that needs and switches. I want to be there to stop that or alter that hydrodynamics.
Wait, Will mentioned something in the chat about the meeting of the townsfolk. How do you feel about that?
Do we want to split this 3 in 1 with me upstairs and everybody else downstairs, or is the ritual that we did with the pebbles enough to mean that the townsfolk will do something sensible upstairs while we're all working in the Undercity?
I think it's up to you. Although I'm okay with any.
Which would you prefer, Will? I'm good either way.
Okay, I don't necessarily want to pull too much focus to split the party too much. So I think although it means it's not quite as much Ermin's wheelhouse to do the stuff downstairs, I think I'd much rather be a consolidated party here.
Okay. And we'll see if we can put you in scene if we have to come back to the townsfolk stuff.
I have an idea, Lowell, about the whole underbelly thing.
Sure.
I was thinking so we could pull in the weird game that Basanta was playing. That the underbelly goons and seedy people are like playing this elaborate game, and they're like selling. I don't know if there's like selling people or maybe gods or something, and then we're trying to get into a room with the big boss to get to know what he wants, but we need to win the game. But we need to. So
Here's what I'll do.
I don't know.
I will keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Let's figure about you going in, and then when you want to shape the lie to that.
Oh,
I'll throw some
okay,
pieces on the table for you on that. But
okay,
tell me, to get to the deeps under this, the old reservoir, or the drain swamp, the underworld that lies, the night market that is down there. What is the way that is your passage to get into that area?
I think it's like a really old elevator that's like powered by secrets, and as long you don't see what secret I tell to the small corner of that tiny room, but as I say it whirs into life and it throttles down. Like at first it's like really slow and and everyone's like staring at me, and then and it goes really fast as it plummets down. And then as it opens the door, I feel like, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to have you make a roll, because you do have to get past guardians here. So let's have you roll double rebellion for struggle unafraid against gods, essentially to get past the mechanisms and guardians that keep you from getting down to these below places.
Okay. Wow, my name is so long, it's like going over the other names. But anyway, I got 3.
Got 3. So you will travel, and this elevator is tight. You have to sneak past some administrative guardians. They have a set of dogs that they keep to keep people out of here, that you have to make your way past. They're kind of goat dogs that are there that rather than bark, they bleat, but they still have sort of a dog face. Yeah, exactly.
That's so cute.
The devil eyes.
Holy shit. Oh no. Okay.
But they're down there. They are, that they are mean, and have to get past them down into there, and eventually it is that the elevator kind of comes out in a place. There are no walls in a conventional sense. There are barriers and sections and things, but all where there would be walls and things, it's all pipes. And none of them are straight. They are entangled around each other. They're wrapped together like wires almost in places. And you're not sure exactly, it kind of doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But you will make your way down into this great dark market here. This is a difficult place to get to. These people essentially mudlark through the sewer things that fall. They'll swim through the pipes to get stuff, and they come down here and they resell it and distribute it out amongst it. But you will definitely see that there are big versions of sort of the game tables that you saw upstairs. They're kind of like in the center of the place on a raised sort of corroded, tarnished big dais. There's like a very fancy table. Like they've got torches and light spirits on it. Like this is the centerpiece when they do tournaments that are up there with big stacks of rule books, kind of mildewed and in sort of wooden three-wing binders beside it. And there are lots of people down here moving around, doing things. You'll hear every once in a while sort of like almost like coded signals, almost like you'd be at a hospital where you hear them calling for a doctor, stat, and then you'll see people, you know, rushing off clearly to take care of some of the things. Tell me, Hudis, what is the smell here? It isn't like sewage. It isn't like mildew. What is weirdly the smell that hangs in the air here?
It's like a rotten parmesan. So it's bad fruit.
Yeah, and even bad fruit has a little bit of that sort of vegetal, fruity, like smell to it, like it's organic. So it's weird to have that here. And it kind of, as you move around, it shifts and kind of hangs in the air. You're not sure if it's coming from the ground, from the pipes, from the people, but it is omnipresent here. Lilia, what is it that you are looking for here?
I mean, I want to know, I'm looking for like the control gates, the switches and things.
So that seems like steal the secrets of God. Like you are checking out the physical location, right?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
So that's
rebellion, a rebel plus spirit.
okay. So that's 4. And unfortunately, that is only 1 success.
That is only 1 success. You get 1 question.
Other acts. I think the what is useful to me here is the obvious query. What I desperately want as a player, though, is for the whole lock system to be controlled by that giant board game.
Oh, well, that's certainly going to be tied in there since Hudis put that on the table. I think that you will realize that there are some of these people here who, like, they're dressed kind of differently, and they look a little bit different, and people are kind of giving them a slightly wider berth. And your sense is that these are technicians from another part of the underworld that have been sent here to manage whatever is going to happen tomorrow. Like, it's clearly not a normal thing that they've brought these people in. And that seems to be a little odd. Does that sound fair?
Definitely. And I think I'm going to elbow my companions and sort of surreptitiously try and like point them out to everyone as people that are out of place.
Let's check in with Basanta, and then we'll kind of rotate around, see what people are doing here. Basanta, what is it that we see with you? This is a place you've never been in. I think one of the things that will strike you is how few sort of little god spirits you see around down here. Things are hiding in the corners or trying to get out of here, but it has a weird sterility to it.
I think you see Basanta smirking. And I'm not sure whether this is Shape the Lie or Steal Secrets from God. Basanto was lying earlier. She does know how to play this game. I mean, after watching her uncles play it over and over and over and argue and argue and argue, she knows how to play it. And not only that, in wandering around the city, she's found extra rule books that nobody else has discovered.
That definitely seems like Shape the Lie.
Alrighty. So, Shaping the Lie, Wisdom plus Spirit.
That is correct.
What is my Wisdom plus Spirit? It is...
Can I have a way to help, and I
Okay.
can either save it for now or maybe later for when you're actually playing this game. But can I have my silver cup that was my reward, that if you put the dice in it and you roll from the cup, it's not cheating. It'll just, your luck will increase. That there's like
we can roll that forward when if and when we get to a competition on that.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if that's
Yeah.
like a way to help you now, or if I should hold on to it.
This is more about establishing the
sorry.
set of advantages, I think.
Okay. And then does my concept play into this?
I like that. Yeah.
Okay, so there's 4. And is there any other help that anybody can offer at this point, do you think?
This is for learning the rules of the game and
For establishing
positioning.
that he has these extra rule books and knows these things.
Hudis, did you ever, as a terrible older brother, take her to
I feel like I vaguely remember being really drunk, teaching a much younger Basanta, like 3-year-old Basanta, like how to play this game very coherently. But I was like, wait, you were really young. And I'm like, oh, but infants learn faster, right? Huh.
And you were drunk,
feel
so that
like
means
that's
you were a
the
better
system.
teacher.
Oops.
We'll give you-
Yeah. It was like, I was very much more colorful, and that's why you were fascinated.
We'll give you the 2 extra dice.
All right, let's see how this goes. Oh, that's 5 successes out of 6 dice.
Excellent. So we'll definitely say that you have accumulated a set of books. We established that you do know the rules of it. You have a good sense of it, and it can play if you are called on to do so. Does that seem fair?
Totally.
What do we see you doing during all of this, Ermin?
I think I'm going to sidle up to one of the technicians that was brought in to handle the switchover, and I'm going to try and butter them up, maybe make like an out of district commoner who's trying to find out more about where to find what's going on, and just sort of make small talk and see if I can get some information from this guy. Like, mistake them for a local and be like, where are the good where are the good watering holes around here? What should I be on the lookout for? And then if there's sort of a mutual awkwardness about, oh, well, neither of us are here are from around here, are there? Just sort of strike up a commonality.
So how do you want to play that out? What do you think is the appropriate move? Are you trying to get information? Are you trying to make a friend? What do you think?
I'm kind of seeing if we can get some leverage among the technicians. So I'm kind of leaning towards either sway the flock or my charisma move that gains a follower.
Let's do that charisma move, because if you got a move for it, let's do that.
Sure. Who is it that I end up talking to?
You end up talking to Tesarka 1010. and she's about 6'3". None of the outfits fit for her, so she's had to like stitch together a couple of different ones, and you can see that clearly her skin on her hands from the fingers on up to almost the elbow is a different color, like from all the gunk that she's worked in over the years. It's kind of a reddish gold, whereas the rest of her skin is kind of a darker teak color. She's clearly, being so much taller than her comrades, is a little awkward.
All right, so I can see if we can sort of parlay that mutual awkwardness into a degree of kinship.
Absolutely.
All right, so I am rolling 7 dice.
Yikes.
That is 5 hits. A follower has a thing that they want from me when they agree to join me, which is usually one of the following: resources, protection, knowledge, or fame. I can ask them to do things. They have a skill of 2 and a loyalty of 2, and if I ask them to do something risky or would require a lot of their time, then I do a skill plus loyalty test to see if they balk or want something in return or what have you.
So I think that as you're talking to them and you kind of get to sit down, and they're like, you talk about, and like, you know this area, you know the upper place. Can you get back up to the upper place?
I imagine we can probably. I imagine there's a way back there. Have you been topside often?
Oh, no, not for years and years and years. When there was an earthquake, and we got tossed upstairs.
Oh wow!
We had to
You had
find
to
our
find your
way
way back down.
Oh yeah. I think that's how I got all stretched out like this when I was climbing, and that's why I'm so tall.
My friend, if you want to see topside, I'm sure that we can find a way to get you up there.
Yeah, she's like, I really want to go up there because things are not. I don't want to be down here when they run the things.
Is it just a lot of stress, a lot of noise? What's the trouble?
No. They brought in a special filter. It's not going to be pretty. I know.
Well, people down here are going to be in trouble.
Well, no, it's just when the management, whoever wins and gets the effluvium from the process, it's gonna give them power, but I don't know what it's gonna do upstairs. It's not gonna be good.
Is Tasarka referring to the flooding, or are they referring to something else?
Yeah, like clearly, they've come here and they've been given some kind of filter to put on the water that goes up. You're not sure if that's I think it sounds like that's a usual part of the process, but they've given them something unusual.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of hard to make out. She's talking in a lot of lingo too.
Yeah, that's a bit unnerving, to be honest. You wouldn't be possible to slide a sample of that filter my way. I'm sort of nervous to see what it might bode for upstairs.
She laughs. She goes, "Oh, no. The filters they can't. Especially this one.
It's not.
No, they use god husks as filters, and they brought in a god of hunger, and they're going to filter the water through that. Normally,
Wow.
you get it like to do something else, but like that doesn't sound cool.
No, definitely. Tasarka, do you know if it would be possible to get a closer look at this? Because I know some friends of mine and I are awfully curious about what it would be like, what running water through a god husk would look like.
Well, they do have guards, so we have to be careful.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get on the bad side of your. Don't want to get on the bad side of your crew. Might be hard to get you up topside if that happened.
Oh no, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Do you want to bring Tessarka back to the group as they're wandering here?
Sure. Yeah, I was just introduce them to some of my friends who can help show them a good time topside.
Hoodis, you're pretty tall, right?
No, I just got taller.
Yeah. Okay.
I just care about my height because I'm a adolescent.
Yeah. God, a little taller, and now there's this looming woman who kind of has that slouch that you get when you're trying to keep yourself a little in. She'll greet all of you. Hey,
friends, this is Tessarka 1010. She's an accomplished engineer down here, and she was hoping to take a look at, come back with us and see what Topside has to offer. She has some very interesting news about some of the work they've got going on down here. It's all right.
Auntie.
These folks are great.
okay.
Hello, honored auntie. You seem different than the aunties I know.
Well, I'm not an aunt.
I meant you're a lot taller.
I get that a lot.
You are one of the little gods, aren't you?
Well, I'm not a god.
She's an engineer. That's like a god, right?
Oh no, not at all. No. I'm like you.
Who does like peeks through his shades. They wore shades. I typed it in the chat. They wore shades just to look cooler underground because they didn't look shady enough. So he just does like that over at the Sarga. And is like, and then is like whispers to Will that's like, is she gonna get us in, or are we gonna go to the table thing? I think Basanta's like half already running over there.
I think Tessarka may have some information for us, as long as everybody stays safe. Don't want to get anybody in trouble here. And you're too humble, my friend. I mean, surely engineers work wonders with equipment.
Sometimes, but sometimes. Doesn't want to toot her own horn, kind of, still closed off there a little.
But I was hearing such fascinating things about the filter they're going to be running the water through down here. I feel like I'm itching to find out more about that. I mean, so many strange things here down under the city. I want to fill my head with them before I go back up the stairs. But you say there's guards, so.
And she'll kind of give you a rundown of the area as best she knows it. So I mean, you've got a couple of avenues of exploration or intervention here. Lilia.
So I'm listening to her talk about this god husk, and that it's a god of hunger.
Mm-hmm.
And just on a whim, I want to ask her, I don't suppose when they were transporting it that there was the scent of cigars, was there?
I think that you are shaping the lie.
Just to bring in things from previous sessions.
Absolutely.
I think I get 8 dice for that.
Yes, you've got a lot.
3.
Yeah. I think this god's part of the nicotine continuum.
What was the name of the rage god that we let go in session 1?
The Satan of Wrath?
The Satan of Wrath, yes.
I think that was the name that you had for him, actually.
Okay.
Honored uncle.
Honored uncle being the other name.
I mean, as names go, that's somewhat ambiguous, but
I just want to ask, does God Husk mean they're dead?
That is an excellent question.
Is that the question you want the answer to?
I don't think I get an answer to a question. I think I just get to declare a thing.
Declare a thing. So what is the question?
I don't get it. I think that's Basanta's question.
Yeah, and that's in character.
Okay.
Getting meta for a second.
Oh, okay. So I wasn't following. I thought we were still on the previous roll there.
No, I just thought it would be nice and symmetrical to bring the Satan back.
So, but let's resolve that shape the lie roll then. Then what do you want? Is that what you want to establish before I move on?
That was kind of what I was thinking.
Okay.
Which might give us a little bit, since we have a relationship with that creature
Sure.
already, and we know something of its desires.
Absolutely.
And I mean, if I'm going to shape the lie with it, why don't I say that it is alive? That it's something that we could potentially manipulate or set free. Does that work for everybody?
Is that the one you want? You want it to be alive? Or do you want the Satan of Wrath thing?
Oh, I don't get both.
No, you don't get both.
I thought I was getting both. We are down.
Which one's more important to you right this sec?
The symmetry of bringing back the creature from session 1.
Absolutely. And I think that as you were looking around, you will see the patrol that is guarding, because you've been pointing out that there are guards here. And it's when Tessar kind of moves away, and you'll see your friend the Wrath Satan, little uniform hat on, and he has a pack of war goat dogs with him. And he's clearly, walking a patrol route there, big blemished cigar, pouring out horrible, stenchy smoke as he goes.
Okay, I thought I was declaring that the God Husk filter
Oh.
was the Satan of Wrath.
Oh, okay. Then let's.
That's fine too. This is fine too. I'm happy.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
That's why I was confused about, because it was actually be better for us if it was dead then.
I mean, for what it's worth, what I was hearing was that you were declaring that the Wrath God was the God Husk, and then Basanta's question was, are these God Husk filters usually dead? So
right.
that's why I was, yeah.
Then let me roll back here. Let's roll back to framing that out, because I misunderstood what was being asked there. So yeah, I think that what it is that it's actually several of these Satans stitched together, because each of the Satans is a sin. So your Satan is Wrath. So they probably got a couple other Satans, and it's dominated by essentially a Satan of greed, which is the equivalent of hunger, which gives it its dominant flavor. But they've been dried out and stitched together to make this filter. Is that fair?
Yeah, I was mostly just doing it for flavor.
Okay.
Horrible, truly horrifying.
Okay.
So the Satan of Wrath has basically been turned into parts.
Yes, he's still whole, but he's stitched as part of this whole.
Okay,
And
whole, do you mean, can we talk to him?
or is he dead?
Well, you have to find out when you get over there.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's living his best life, and then the words just sort of slurped back into my mouth.
So I think that you need to make a roll for your assistant. Will, you've got the move for that, right? They roll skill plus loyalty, right?
Sure. Is this to get us access to the Satan,
to get past the guards and over to the filter?
Okay, so that is a 4-die roll. I don't think there's anything sensible that could be used to aid this because we're trying to get a favor. 1 hit on 4 dice.
I was going to say, is there any way that I can help?
How would you
I
help?
could act as a distraction.
Yeah, that seems
I
fair.
mean, I do have perfectly shiny shoes.
You do.
I mean, they probably sparkle like crazy in a place like this.
Yeah, a partial hit on charisma is they'll do what you ask them to, but they'll demand something afterwards, and if I don't fulfill it, it lowers their loyalty. So maybe this is a bit of a big ask for 10 cent.
Because if it was just you, it would have been okay, but you're taking along 3 others. So I think that she is a little bit panicked, and she's like, yes, but we have to go, like, we'll go look at it, but then we have to go afterwards immediately.
Sure. You know,
we have to
we
go
don't want to linger
out of here. She kind of gestures upwards immediately afterwards.
All right. Yeah, I can help you out there. This might actually be where I split off from the party if I need to get to Sarka up top.
Okay. So you will be walked past the guards that they have here, around over to, you're not even sure how they got this in here, but an enormous, it's like glass and wood kind of fused together, tube. It's kind of leaking in some spaces. It has several places where valves are connected to it. And inside of this filter, you'll see there are these sitons stitched together. And there's the strong smell of vinegar. Oh, let's get Maria back in. I forget that we have to do waiting room now, which is, I have to keep I'm sorry, Maria. Sorry that took so long to get you in. Okay. Small smell of vinegar, like they've pickled the sitons in this enormous container. And as you are walking up, they're kind of floating inside of it. It hasn't been hooked up to the systems like fully. It's not in operation. They kind of move around like you see in the alien movies or things where they have specimens in a tank. It's kind of that sort of slow moving, and of course we get that jump scare as one of them opens their eyes and kind of looks at you as you approach. What do you want to do?
Can we do a Moana moment of being like, you remember us, right? We were the ones who had a crush on the Manananggal. You know, you see the beer on Basanta's hand. You remember, right? And I have the chain, and I'm like, you remember this? Hello? And I'm like shaking it up.
Let's have you roll with struggle unafraid. You're kind of knocking against this to have to make noise to awaken your friend. He's been essentially spiritually made a husk, so he's been drained out. So you're going to have to give him a little bit of your spirit to wake him up.
Okay, so that's...
I'd say violence or spirit, either one of those. And you roll that, double that.
Yeah. I feel like I'll do... Wait. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I wanted to make an illusion, but never mind. I feel like I don't mind rolling with a few dice.
Okay.
Okay. Let's go. I got 2 hits.
2 hits. So imagine this. We kind of moved into another section of this area. We kind of moved out from where the table is at. We're in a sort of a more secluded stuff, moved past some of these technician guards into this place with it's like 10 feet tall and like 30 feet long sort of container. Yes, Lilia?
Was that a success?
That is a partial success, yes.
Okay. She's acting on the thing that I said, which is me sharing knowledge with others.
Ah.
She can have 2 more dice, and if that brings her up to a success, we both get Grom.
Okay, let's have you make that roll.
Sorry, I totally forgot about that.
Sure,
That's like
sure.
It could be, yeah, okay. Oh, crap. What did it do? Oh. 3 and a 5.
So 1 more success. So you will knock against this, make this noise. Again, 10 feet tall, rounded cylinder, kind of on its side. It's about 30 feet long. There are 5 or so Satans, it's hard to tell, kind of stitched together inside this pickling vat that they've got there. It's clearly they've got some like lifters to eventually move this over to plug it into place. And your friend, the Satan of Wrath, as you kind of leech that Gaham into him, his eyes come open and there's a as he tries to talk, but he's in a big vinegar vat right now. And he's still slowly turning. So he sees you and then he keeps turning and you have to wait for him to come around. And then he comes back around. And he like pulls a hand and he like taps against the glass. And he's clearly awake and moving. The others of the Satans have not woken up. What do you want to do with that? What's the next step?
I mean, my brain's kind of bouncing around, encourage him to rebel against his situation, but I'm not sure how we.
I have this move called, the one that I got, Bulan's Madness, where I make a particular hallucination. So maybe I would give him a hallucination of a whole jailbreak happening, but it's just happening to him. And that's why he throws a fit and hopefully breaks his cylinder.
That's interesting. Let's have you roll rebellion plus wisdom. It is a tough difficulty, but at least in a partial success, you can get yourself some edges on this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm committing 1 Gahum for that. Yeah. Okay. For that move. Okay. Yeah. Do people want to help? But I have 7 dice.
What does your shaping the illusion look like? Like, what do the others see when you give this hallucination to the Wrath Satan that will make them struggle more and possibly break free?
Yeah, I feel like when I see the Wrath Satan, I get really sad, and I remember talking to the moon at night, and then I implore her to give me an illusion that's like full of that would inflame his anger. And I feel like if he whips out towards us, and if it's a success, our familiar faces will morph into like the other Satans, and they will look like they have escaped, and the glass looks like it's shattered on the floor, and he thinks he could be free again.
Okay.
And I'll help by tossing you a bottle of beer so that you can kind of wiggle it in front of him.
Do the illusion. Yeah, do the illusion. Yeah.
Let's have you roll.
And that's 4 successes.
4 successes. So he will clearly react, and he will tear himself off from the pack. It's horrible. And he's still kind of pickled and shriveled, like he's been in a bathtub for a really long time. And he gets free from the others, but he doesn't have the leverage to bust out. But he has pulled himself free from this. And Tasarka Tenten says, we should leave. We should go now, because that's not going to be good if that breaks. We're all going to, they're going to kill us all.
Whoa, you're right. Yeah, this is absolutely getting out of hand. Friend, let's get out of here. And I motion to, I give a sort of, it's cool, I'll catch up with you later, nod to other people, and I usher Tasarka out of the room.
So you kind of move back. When you kind of head out, you will see that there's some people that have arrived, and you will notice they don't look like the underdwellers. They look a little bit different. The thing that will strike you is, have you ever gotten the thing that drops to have your eyes dilated? That sort of stains yellow around your eyes and that little crusty. You see a number of people with like that kind of patch of yellow around their eyes down here. We'll come back to you in a second. Lilia, what are you doing? Hudis and Basanta have torn the Wrath Sitan free, but
I'm looking at that tank, and I see, I'm gonna cut with thought, because I am looking for flaws in its design, because I would like to hopefully be able to add this shattering tag to the next attack against it.
Absolutely. Make that roll.
All right, and I think it's 6 dice.
Violence plus wisdom, yes.
Ooh, 4 successes.
4 successes. That is a
So
full success.
I'm imagining it almost like it's like a cube, and I know like glass is like one of the, it's a blown glass, and I'm like looking over the wavy glass, and there is a place where it's been like dropped in the past, and a flake has flaked off the surface of the glass, and I kind of just nudge you, Basanta, and like kind of like point at it very surreptitiously and go, there.
So you get 2 tactics. So
I get 2.
Yeah.
So the first one is definitely rending the angel's wings,
Okay.
which would be add smashing, shattering, or restraining. So shattering, I would imagine, would be the correct one to put on this. And first principle of Anis doesn't make any sense, so let's I'll give whoever throws the strike plus 2d.
All right. Basanta, Lilia has pointed you to the weak point on this place.
How hard do I need to stomp my foot?
Probably need to stomp your foot against it.
Catastrophe kick.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking I could walk over and kick it like I'm testing the strength. Would that be enough to do it? Or do I need to do a noticeable, I'm kicking this thing?
Kick. I think you, for dramatic purposes, I think you have to kick this.
Kick it with intent. Gotcha.
Yeah. I think it's high enough that you have to probably jump up to kick it too, because you're pretty small.
That's true.
So that we can have awesome like light shows go off around it in purple mandala knotwork.
Okay, so I think somebody's going to need to help me by tossing me up so that I can kick it. Hudis, how do you feel about doing a little bit of destruction? You're muted. Maria? Are your headphones?
Sorry,
working?
I kind of lost the visual for a while. I mean the audio for a while.
That's okay. I need Basanta needs someone to kind of toss her up in the air so she can actually kick that spot. How do you feel about some destruction?
Oh yeah, sure. I feel like I crouch beside you and just stand really quickly so that I could toss you up.
Throw me up and at it. Kind of like
Mhm.
fastball special with Wolverine and Colossus.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Okay, so I am definitely. Oh God, what's the move name? I can't remember the name.
Make God bleed?
Okay, violence plus rebellion.
Yes.
So my violence plus rebellion is 5, plus the 2 forward from Lilia, plus the 2 forward from Hudas.
Yep.
Makes it 9.
9.
Okay. Do I get to toss on any extra dice because of the shoes?
Plus 1 die for the shoes.
Okay. So that makes it 10. And that seems like enough, doesn't it?
Certainly. There's almost no chance you could fail at this point.
And there's a whole lot of ones that tried to prove you wrong, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. So
we've got this chamber where these things are in. They've got light, of course, there's lights behind it. So we've gotten the color, like aquarium lights of these things through the vinegar of this cube. Lilia has pointed out this spot, just like the beers. When you go, it's only when you get really close that you can even see that there's any kind of change there. Hudas crouches, lifts you up, and you, of course, slow motion, and there is that kick, and as soon as it hits, that crack just shatters out, and that collapses like a massive aquarium in a movie. It crashes out, and it is just pouring out vinegar that just floods out onto you as there's 2 big squelches. One is the raceton kind of sliding and spinning across the floor, a mixture of dirt, mud, and vinegar. And then there's the other 5 cetons that kind of hit the floor and roll, and you see all of their eyes come open. And they are all free, though the 5 are tied together, and your Ratsaton pal is out. Let's come to Ermin, see what you're doing as you hear behind you, and then there's the wash of the smell of vinegar. Probably some roaring too. I assume that starts soon.
Right, that's none of our concern. Let's get you topside.
How do you want to get past this gauntlet of people?
How did we get down here in the first place? I know we avoided some goat dogs. Was it like
you've got some guards and these watch persons from the cult who are kind of in your way. If you can get out to the main area, you can make your way back to that elevator that Hudas brought you down here in.
Okay, but we do have a bit of a guard gauntlet to deal with.
Yes.
Okay. Ooh.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I guess let's sort of go big here. I'm going to say to Tasarka, okay, this is a little dicey, but this is a little dicey, but do you know where the elevator is?
Yeah, and then right, and then down that way. Yeah.
All right. So just wait for me there, and I will be there for you. I'll take care of these folks, and just when the coast is clear, head on through.
Yeah.
And I'll meet you up. I'll meet up with you. I promise.
Okay. Her eyes get wide because she now sees the guards and these watch people coming this way. And she's like, okay, I will.
Yeah, just don't worry about these people. Just don't let them see you, and everything will be fine. And then I'm going to step out in front of this group, and I am going to start declaiming the. This is rough, and I may need to crowdsource this a little bit. It has to be a performance. It has to be something. I feel like it has to be something plausible for a whole bunch of guards and religious folk and I'm an interloper here. I'm torn between either just saying like panic, there's a terrible jailbreak behind me, run for your lives, and instilling panic. But I feel like what I want to do instead is just draw all of their attention into a spectacle.
What is the art you're going to use to do that?
Oration, I think.
Oration?
I don't know if I can. I feel like a combination of oration and very precise dance movements. And I feel like what I'm going to do is I'm going to call them out on the lack of care that they are providing for the people upstairs. So I'm sort of providing this, they may feel uncomfortable about this, but I also want it to be arresting.
So I will throw, for the kick, 2, and now for this, I'll give you another 2 into the pool. If you describe to me what this dance number looks like.
Can I throw an idea out on the table that you could maybe just disregard if you don't like it? What if the Satanic Wrath comes after you and you do kind of a matador toro?
Oh, yeah, I like it. So yeah, I think it's going to start as sort of a wait and listen to this danger that I am telling you about as I'm sort of talking up the terrible thing that's happening behind me with flourishes and a very precise lilt of tension and danger to my voice. And then I hear the creature behind me. And I like the matador idea. Is I just start saying, come for me, boy, and just sort of try and stay out of its range. I am spending 1 active Gahum, and I am absolutely drawing the attention of all of these people for as long as I keep avoiding this Satan of Wrath.
So here's how the spending of the Gahum, it works. Like it works. What do we see? What's your aura again when you activate that? When we see your power?
The color is probably cyan, and I've been generally having breezes blow out my sleeves, and just sort of like a snappy cyan energy to my flourishes, and an otherworldly wind. So I guess we're putting on the performance of Ermin dodges the Satan of Wrath for all of these suddenly captivated people.
I think I would like you to roll for the Satan, for dodging the Satan. And I think that's because you're doing this through your spiritual things, I think you're going to roll double word to avoid the consequences and keep him occupied.
Okay. That said, this sounds like a physical resist rather than a social or mental resist, because I'm trying to not be obliterated by this by this individual.
Well, I think, but if it were a physical resist, you would have no chance. I think you are using your powers to avoid. That's why I think word would be appropriate.
All right, I'm going to spend my other
a little bit of the lingering hallucination on it, and you can kind of see the edges of it, and you're using that to sort of manipulate it, like through song, when you're like as part of the dance, and that's how it's word, not
okay. And this is word plus word?
Yep.
You know what? It's the last session. I'm going to spend my other active Gahoon and make this word plus 4 for 12 dice. Just because I can.
Let's have you roll.
That is 7 hits on 12 dice.
It's a little like Yuri on Ice, a double skating kind of thing. As he's coming around, it doesn't look like you're fighting, as much as you are in this bizarre dance, and they stop and they have to watch. They are transfixed by this. Mouths drop open, and you can almost feel the power of this probably go into the eyes of these watchers, and you know that somewhere else in the city there's a cult of watchers that are suddenly transfixed by this scene, by this majesty. Lilia, Hudis, Basanta, there's a pack of sitans, a bunch of vinegar. You turn to leave, and you'll see this spectacle as Ermine is holding all of the guards. Even the goat dogs are watching in wonder at this scene.
And nobody's watching Tasarka.
And she's gone.
Yeah.
Basanta, now's your chance to change the pieces on that board. I think it's what controls the pumps.
Just 1 second, and I free all of the satans.
Yeah, I help you with my lock picking, and I also collect all of their chains, just like I did with the first one. So I'm doing like a Lady Gaga bit where I decorate myself with so many chains now.
And I'm just reminding each one of them as I slice through the stitches, you owe me. I freed you.
I think that you are going to have to roll for this one, because these are beasts, monsters of pure instinct, and especially at this point. So I would like each of you to roll.
Is this breathtakingly dangerous?
It is breathtakingly dangerous, yes.
And we are interacting with the supernatural, so there's favor dice in the pool.
There are 4 favor dice in the pool.
Okay.
So I think this is either violence or rebellion doubled.
Do we have a goal? I mean, not that we really need a goal, but do we have a thing that we hope is going to happen here? Just
I mean, it seems to be trending along the lines of make these people sorry they ever thought this was a good idea.
Let's go with that.
Aren't the people here just people who live down here? Like, there's like a small.
Well, no, make the people who thought of this scheme sorry they ever thought of it, because I mean, these things are good. You know, they'll
Those people aren't going to be sorry. Those people are far away. I want to try and like stay your hand, Basanta. This is a market, and like, yes, the game that's played here seems to control the waters above, and that's a lot of power for these people to have. But you brought me around to believing that we should help all the different creatures of this world, but maybe this is not the moment to let them free. Maybe we can take them somewhere safer after we deal with the water problem.
I feel like those chains could chain up giant monsters of pure instinct, enraged by torment, blah blah blah. Those are very nice. Those are very nice. I feel like
Lilia, somebody's gonna notice if we're trying to cart these satans, these honored elders, through the city. They're kind of hard to hide. We can point them in a direction and say, go out that way.
Ermine's a fantastic dancer. I don't think he can dance with all, was it 7 of these?
I think 7, because there has to be 7 deadly sins. Yes.
I feel like I hold Basanta's face and I'm like, listen to Lilia over there. Go get that chess piece, and I have like this tiny wink that you can see like behind my half mask that I'm like I'll do it. Like don't worry, I'll do it. Just follow her. Like release the gate, and then I'll take care of the Sitan.
This seems like a staggeringly bad idea, and I'm completely on board with it.
So what are you doing?
And Lilia's action is I am going to give you the most heartfelt thank you, Hudis. here I am like, at this moment, I am totally trusting that you are on my side. And when I find out, I'm going to be so mad.
Yeah.
So
So much for mending those fences.
I am heading over to the chess table with Lilia.
okay, and you're rushing over there, and your intent is to change the frame of the game.
Yes.
All right. Then
I want to empty the pipes, but I want to empty them someplace else.
let's
Ascertain where it might be safe to do that, and also good for crocodile people, since we, I guess, want crocodile people.
there are so many needs here. We'll see how well. I think this is going to be wisdom plus rebellion,
Okay.
and you're going to get 2 extra dice for the earlier setup.
Okay.
And I'm gonna hand you my lucky mug to roll your dice from.
So another 2 dice.
Okay. And then one for my concept, you
Mhm.
think? Okay, so this is wisdom plus rebellion, you said.
Yep,
Plus 5.
sounds like it.
Okay. And wisdom plus rebellion. So that
And
is
if you want to take a couple of favor dice out of the pool, I endorse that as well. This seems
what the hell?
like, because this is like the roll that's.
We can take up to 2 favor dice out of the pool.
I think so.
Okay. Well, let's just go with 12 dice.
Okay.
And then once we've figured out what kind of success it is, I'm assuming you'll tell me what all I can do.
Yeah, absolutely.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 successes.
So you can do it. You can do it fast. You can do it in a safe place, and you can do it in a place that alligators could live. So what do we see? Like, what is the play that we see on screen before I cut back to Hudis's betrayal?
You see Basanta flipping through something that looks suspiciously like a Twilight Imperium guidebook.
Oh yeah.
And
Starfleet
moving
battles, all that. Yeah.
a top hat and something that looks like an X-wing and something else that looks like a knight from a chessboard onto a backgammon piece.
And I think you see like the Grandmaster that's down there is kind of turning, and he sees you making that move, and there's a slow motion no as you're changing the board state there. And you're
I turn and
holding
wink
up the
at him.
rule book. And the whole place will shake as the water that has been held back starts moving around through here. And you'll realize that there's a lot of off flow because none of these pipes are particularly secure. So suddenly the place is just filled with rain and water pouring down everywhere as you do that. So now we see Ermin and the Wraith Satan in, water flying off of them as they do this dance. Hudis, what do you do?
Is there a wait? I was looking at the axe to see what I could do. I kind of want to do 2 moves.
Well, let's hear them. What is it you want to do first?
Yeah, I kind of want to use the chalice of the holy tongues that I had from the last session and kind of enchant it with Bulan's madness so that I could, I don't know, it was more of a narrative beat in terms of like I'm pouring it over their eyes so that they're blind to harming others or harming me more specifically.
So you want to use your Gaham essentially to create hallucinations so they'll leave these people alone and go elsewhere because is that
yeah, and not harm me while I'm trying to set them free.
This is going to be a difficult challenge. Let us have you roll your rebellion plus wisdom, a couple extra dice for your cup. Do you want to use the last 2 dice in the pool?
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. You can do it, my friend. Ooh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5 successes. What is the injury you suffer in the course of this?
I love it. Sorry, I love injuries.
Yeah.
I mean, for characters.
Yeah. What happens? It's something brutal happens as they rush off, driven by the passions in this dream that the moon has gifted you, that's poured down into their eyes. And again, their eyes look like the eyes of the Watcher people because it's got a different color around them. What happens to you?
I'm curious, what do you think the moon goddess would want from me?
Well, I would say if you are...
Because I've been asking so much from her today.
I think if you're pouring this in people's eyes, I think you owe her an eye.
And I think Guda says something like, I would gladly be your keeper here, my queen or something. Yeah, my liege. Yeah, and kind of uses like the tip of his lockpick to, you know how like when you wear contacts you have to like, it's weird but you're used to it, so he's kind of like, yeah, I'm used to these lockpicks. Okay, do it. and does it to himself. But yeah,
we see it off screen. You know, we do a veil on that.
Veil.
And then we see you fall back. Lilia, you turn and you see Hudis break the chains on these demons.
I get that. I make sure they're wrapped around my hand. I'm like, I'm not giving these up.
And Lilia, for a second, you think they're going to rush out into the populace. You kind of see that. And then you see them run in all different directions for the various different pathways and elevators out of here. Clearly, you see that we've described that you can kind of see the edge of those illusions. You can see those wrapped around the heads of these demons as they head out. And then you see Hudis holding his hand to his face and blood is running down his cheek. What do you do, Lilia?
My rage is so great that I will not offer to heal you.
Oh. So I think we will probably see the montage of the 4 of you getting up out of here, out into the night street. Yes.
5. We've got a hanger on.
Oh yes. With Tessarca, you'll get up to the streets where we can see the crowd calling for revolution, and we'll see somebody like no, and goes to throw the locks on the dam, and nothing happens. And we kind of cut then to the 5 of you heading out into the night as the cheers go up. But I think from there we have to move to epilogues. Basanta, what is your epilogue in the wake of this, either in the immediate aftermath or some ways down the road?
If it's okay with Jane, I think Basanta's kind of following Lilia around because she knows Lilia kind of needs somebody to watch out for her in some ways. Somebody's little street smarts, maybe just to watch her back because, there's people who are after her.
Are you doing this so that Lillian knows it, or are you doing this from the shadows?
Both, sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes from the shadows, so Lilia feels like she has independence and some freedom, and like she's not having her hand held all the time. to kind of gain that sense of ability that she can do this.
Let's
she
check in
belongs
with Lilia and make sure that that's okay and
Yeah.
that fits with what she would like and how she pictures her follow-up. Is that okay with you? Okay, I just wanted to check in and make sure. So we'll see that in the streets.
I'm excited.
Ermin, what do we see for your epilogue? You're muted.
I'm curious about the situation between Lilia and Hudis, because if detente is possible, then I see a scene with the three of them sitting down at a table, going through Hudis's giant pile of herbs.
Then let's hold that for a second.
Yeah, there's an alternate if that didn't work.
Lilia, then what do you see?
That betrayal is deep enough that moment, like, even though you softened it with the illusion, I think that I've kind of decided that Hudis is much of a danger as like some of the that recklessness is as dangerous as misused power. Like anarchy is awful too. And I am doing my research and I am trying to slowly and gently turn Basanta away from you.
Oh, fuck! Wow, drama, pain.
Nice.
I love it. Shit.
So,
but I feel
yeah.
Oh.
Do you want to do yours?
I feel like Huda's reactions to Lilia about that is that you don't give the Satans a chance, don't you? They're filled with violence for a reason. Who is left to pity them but the worst of us? And then I'm like toying with the chains, and you notice that like one of my, and then finally it makes sense because like one of my old scars kind of matches like a chain, like a chain towards my old tree or whatever, and it's like, and I'm like, and that's why I don't know if I want to use the chains as like a new weapon or something I want to sell. Like as I break it apart and sell it, I mean, because I mean I'm supposedly good with objects, so and then I get not really, but more of like I'm addressing Bucket's like message. Who this is Satan? No, I feel like he just relates to the chain shit, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I feel like the last scene is him trying to I think when he pawns the chains, he finally gets to pay off the
Jackal Daddy.
Jackal Daddy, yeah. And I feel like you see a sense of relief from his shoulders that kind of says that, yo, I think that was one of the like last big ones that ever links him to Pelendok.
Pelendok. Excellent. Ermin.
Double checking with Lilia. Has Hudis's explanation shifted your position, or are you still on a course to minimize the damage Hudis can do?
I think I would need a whole new story arc to resolve that.
Okay.
So
yeah.
So at the end of season 1, I am definitely Hudis, and I consider myself Hudis's enemy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think we see Ermin sitting by himself in the tea shop, and maybe there's like a light on by Lilia's bedroll where she's doing something by herself, and this whole detente thing has sort of fallen apart. And Ermin is thoughtfully sipping tea, and there's the big pile of discarded herbs in the corner untouched as we look out as sunset deepens over the city.
Nice. Wow. Love the drama at the end. Thank you very much. Wow. That was a joy. Let's if you don't mind, let's do a quick stars. Just stars all around. I just want to say, love all these characters. This game gives you so many tools to do cool stuff, and you did cool stuff with all the moves. I think we got a lot of character moves on the table, and I was happy about that. So let's go that same order. Puckett, stars.
God, where do I even start? I mean, Will, the Matador idea was amazing.
Major props to Jane for pulling that in. I feel like that really crystallized the moment.
Yeah, but the way you described it, it was just like, that was so good. Jane, I love the character of Lilia because she's just a fish out of water, and she's trying to do what she knows how to do and realizing that maybe isn't the right thing to do. And then struggling against all of that is watching that struggle between what she knows and what actually is, and how she tried to resolve it and how she resisted it and how she went in favor for it. Just over these past sessions, it's been absolutely delightful. And Maria, goddamn, if you weren't the best partner in crime possible. Like every bad idea you said you said, that's great, hold my beer.
Yeah.
Just all the time. It's like, it was so much fun. And honestly, I have no idea whether Basanta would be swayed or not, because Basanta seems to think everybody is always her friend, unless they're clearly just somebody that you can't do anything with. So, if she sees good in the Satans, she's gonna still see good in Hootis, I'm sure. Even if there is not a season 2. Not that I'm trying to suggest anything. Hint, hint.
Fair enough.
So thank you so much for that. I loved all these characters. I am going to be sad on Tuesday nights for a while.
I do want to second something you said about Lilia. The arc of growing away from the traditional to the kind of falling back at the end was so good. It felt so right. Like, just hit the right notes. Jane, stars?
Oh goodness. Again, the joy of having people that just run straight at the problem is so amazing. Like, I can say the same thing that Puckett said, that like to have Hootis and Basanta as my partners in crime, like it drove, like it was wonderful. I thought it was like really kind of you for the game, Will, to pass up that like the town hall scene, which I'm so sad we missed that. Like I wanted to see that, and I know that would have been like an amazing moment, and that was like a really selfless thing to do as a player, to give that to the group, and very kind of you. Lowell, you can come up with some gross stuff. It's good. Like some real gross stuff. Yeah, I just like every time you use the shoes, Puckett is just fantastic. Like there was something like I could just feel Basanta's joy in them, and like that character is just so full of joy. And I was just I loved everyone's interactions. I was just having a blast the entire time, and everyone has been so kind and generous with my like spaz. So thank you.
Maria, stars?
Yeah, stars to everybody. That was fun. Oh, damn. I second what I was about to say Lilia. What Jane said about Lowell, like I really like the details of like the Satan like turning around slowly and having to turn around again. I was like, dang, yeah, totally. It's like totally makes sense. I also yeah. And then I really I like Will's friendliness with the engineer and praising them. I'm like if that was like yeah like what am I trying to say? Like I can imagine if this was a series, I'd be like, come on, like come on. Come on. Yeah. I like the dichotomy with I love how logical it is actually. Like I feel like, for example, like even that last bit, I feel like, for example, Basanta wanting to free the Sitans, but I'm like, I'm the lockpicker. Sit down. Like I love how logical the whole thing is, and even the consequences were logical. So I was like, I feel like a part of me is like trying to explore. I feel like Judas doesn't want to be part of Pilandok anymore as terms of identity. That's why he's leaning on to this moon shit, you know. But it's also not as healthy as he would like to think, you know. But he's a teenager. He's trying. So. I also really like Basanta. I could really see her in my mind. Like I can remember the tiny Chinese girl in FMA, Brotherhood. Like that's like my mental image for her. And yeah, I do not mind season 2, wink wink, but I'm also like, yeah, like Oh yeah, and thanks for being open about the game stuff. Like I just walked. Yeah.
No, I'm glad to get that on the table. That gave us a neat set piece to have everything revolve around. So I enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm.
Will, stars?
I mean, that was excellent. I would say stars for the group for being really good with yes and just pulling in details all the way back from the first session.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that we brought the Satan of Wrath back in a very different context. The fact we brought the shoes in is another hit. The fact that we brought in we brought in the games from the beginning part of the episode and made it core to the scenario. I feel like there was an awful lot of just sort of pulling ideas and throwing them at each other and then running with it, which I thought we did very well. I thought the first scene between Lilia and Basanta on the street was so heartwarming, and the two of you just clicked really well in that scene. That was a joy to watch. And Maria, you took such a small prompt, basically, Ermin finds Judas out there doing something and built an entire side arc out of it, which I really appreciated. And yeah. Maria, the degree to which you have been, the way that you've been driving Judas like a stolen Formula One car is just fantastic. I think Puckett was referring to it as a sort of hold my beer moment. Certainly beer was being held in that. And Lowell, your descriptions of characters and places, I mean, not just these 7 stitched Satans in a vinegar jar, which was, oof, what an image, but also like the procession of zombies laying eviction notice prayer scrolls on doorways and the eye crusty watchers and stuff. There was an awful lot of and whatever name list you're pulling from is just an absolute delight.
Oh, glad you did. This has been a joy. Like I've really enjoyed running this. This has been a pleasure. I will say I was very nervous because I wasn't sure about the mechanics, but like in session 1, I was like, oh, I like these mechanics, and I love these characters. So just had a very good time. I wanted to point out a parallel. There's a parallel, like you mentioned that, Will, that scene with Lilia and Basanta. They have that at the start of the session where Lilia goes to kind of look out and watch over Basanta, and then in the epilogue we had the reverse of that. And I just caught that. It's so good. Thank you all so much. Is everyone okay with me posting the video?
Post away.
Okay. I'm going to stop recording now.